Join me as I challenge myself to overcome temptation using God's strength and share the journey with you. Overcoming temptation is something that I think many of us struggle with on a daily basis. Whether it's sticking to our New Year's resolutions, avoiding certain behaviors, or simply making healthier choices, it's easy to get caught up in the temptation to take the easy way out or give in to our desires. But I believe that with faith, we can overcome any temptation that comes our way. Temptation can take on many forms. For some of us, it might be the temptation to gossip or speak negatively about others. For others, it might be the temptation to overspend or indulge in unhealthy habits. Maybe it's the temptation to give in to fear or anxiety, allowing those emotions to control our lives. Or perhaps it's the temptation to compromise on our values or morals, just to fit in or avoid conflict.
And I love you more than words can express.
Whatever the form, temptation is a universal human experience
chosen and
that we've all
cherished.
faced at some point or another.
Don't let the world define your worth.
Some of us might even feel tempted to
You are
abandon our
precious
faith
to
or
me.
spiritual practices
Come
when
to
things
me
get
with your
tough.
burdens,
We might feel like God
and
is
I will
distant
give
or
you
uninterested
rest.
in our struggles,
My
leaving us
yoke
to
is
face
easy.
temptation on our own.
My burden
But
is
I
light.
want to assure you that that's just
Don't
not
be
true.
afraid.
God is always
For
with us,
I am with you
even in the
always.
midst of temptation, and He
You
wants
are
to help
forgiven.
us overcome.
Healed.
We might feel like we're the only
and
ones
set
struggling
free.
with temptation, but the
My
truth
love
is that
and grace
everyone
surround
around us
you.
is facing their own battles.
Trust in me.
The person sitting next
And
to you
know
in
that I
church,
have a plan
the
to
coworker
prosper
who
you.
always seems so put together,
You are
even
the light of
pastor
the
or
world.
spiritual leader you admire,
My child.
they're all facing temptation in
I am
one form or
Jesus.
another.
And I
But
love
here's
you
the
more
good
than
news.
words can
God
express.
is bigger than any temptation we'll
You
ever
are
face.
mine.
He's stronger,
Chosen and
wiser,
cherished.
and more loving than we could
Don't
ever
let
hope
the
to be on
world
our
define
own.
your worth.
And when we lean on Him,
You are
when we seek
precious
His
to
strength
me.
and guidance, we can
Come to
overcome
me
even
with
the
your
most
burdens.
daunting temptations.
And I will give
Take
you
the
rest.
story of David and Goliath.
My
For
yoke is
example,
easy.
when David
My
faced off
burden
against
is
the
light.
giant Philistine warrior,
Don't
he
be
could have
afraid.
easily given in to fear and
For
temptation.
I am with you always.
He could have let his doubts and
You are
limitations
forgiven.
hold him back. But
Healed.
instead, he chose to
And
focus
set
on
free.
God's strength and power.
My love
He
and
remembered
grace
the
surround
times
you.
God had delivered him from
Trust
the mouth
in
of the
me.
lion and the paw of the bear,
And know that
he
I have a
trusted
plan
that
to
God would do
prosper
it
you.
again.
You
Or think
are the
about
light
the
of
story
the world.
Jesus in the wilderness,
My
when he was
child.
tempted by Satan for 40
I am
days
Jesus.
and 40 nights.
And I
Jesus
love
could
you
have
more
given
than
in to
words
the
can
temptation
express.
to prove himself, to show
You
off
are
his
mine.
divine power, or to abandon
Chosen
his
and
mission.
cherished.
But instead,
Don't
he
let
chose
the
to
world
rely on
define
God's
your
strength
worth.
and guidance, quoting
You are
scripture and
precious to
trusting in
me.
his Father's goodness.
Come to me with your
In both
burdens.
of these stories, we see that
and I will
overcoming
give you
temptation
rest.
isn't about being strong
My
or
yoke is
self-sufficient.
easy.
It's about
My
being
burden
honest
is
about our
light.
weaknesses and limitations,
Don't be afraid.
and about seeking God's strength and
For I
guidance
am with
in
you
the midst
always.
of struggle. One
You
of my
are
favorite
forgiven.
scriptures when it comes to overcoming
Healed.
temptation is 1
And set
Corinthians
free.
10:13, which says,
My love
"No
and grace
temptation
surround
has
you.
overtaken you that is not
Trust
common
in
to
me.
man." God is
And
faithful,
know that I have
and He
a
will
plan
not
to
let you
prosper
be
you.
tempted beyond your ability.
You
but
are
with
the light of the
temptation, He will
world.
also provide the way of
My
escape,
child.
that you may be able to endure
I am
it.
Jesus.
This verse reminds us
And
that
I love
we're
you
not
more
alone
than
in our
words can
struggles,
express.
and that God is always providing
You
a
are
way
mine.
out, always offering us a path
Chosen
to
and
victory.
cherished.
When we remember
let
that
the
God
world
is faithful,
define your
that
worth.
He's always with us and for us,
You
we
are
can
precious
face
to
even
me.
the most daunting temptations
Come
with
to me with
confidence.
your burdens.
We can say, like
And I
Jesus
will
did in
give
the
you
wilderness,
rest.
"It is written."
My yoke
We can
is
stand
easy.
firm on the promises of
My
God,
burden is
trusting
light.
that He's stronger than any
Don't be
temptation we'll
afraid.
ever face.
For I
So
am with
let's
you
recap
always.
the key points we've discussed today.
You are forgiven.
Overcoming temptation
Healed.
isn't about being perfect or
And set
self-sufficient.
free.
It's about being
My love
honest
and
about
grace
our
surround
weaknesses
you.
and limitations,
Trust
and about
in
seeking
me.
God's strength and guidance
And know
in the
that
midst
I
of
have
struggle.
a plan to prosper you.
It's about remembering that God
You
is
are the
always
light
with
of
us,
the world.
always providing a way out,
My
and
child.
always offering us a path to
I
victory.
am Jesus.
Thanks for joining
And
me
I
on
love
this
you
journey
more than
today.
words can
If
express.
you've struggled with temptation,
You are
I want
mine.
to hear from you in the comments
Chosen
below.
and cherished.
What are some ways you've overcome
Don't let the
temptation in
world
the
define
past?
your worth.
What are some scriptures
You
or
are
stories
precious
that
to
have
me.
encouraged you?
Come
And
to
don't
me
forget
with your
to check out our
burdens.
next video, where
And
we'll
I
be
will give
discussing
you
how to
rest.
build spiritual resilience in the face of temptation and adversity.